We're back. JJ.
Guess who's back?
Back again?
Yes, it's us.
Was that a Shady's back reference?
It was.
I like it. Welcome. It's a subspace transmission via not subspace. I wish. Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah. It would be very cool.
If we could just at least communicate with our satellites fast. Let's be real, right? Putting people out there is really hard no matter what you do. But if you could communicate with satellites or even with Mars more quickly, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. Problem with satellites is that so the thing that Star Trek has invented in subspace is that it's like a instant lag-free communication medium over gigantic distances, which is not how anything works.
It's the whole interstellar connection of if a black hole bends space kind of thing, or whatever that is.
Yeah, everything else works, based on radio waves or light or something like that, and they move very fast, but they do have finite speed. And so even if you're just at Mars or something, right? A radio wave takes 7 minutes to get to Mars.
I think so, yeah.
Light is a bit faster, but still, it's not,
Right. I mean,
it's not
for
instant.
us, it would be, for us to Mars, light speed from here to Mars would be indiscernibly instant.
It'd be pretty quick, but it's not instant, right? And as you then stretch that out over light years and light years and light years, all of a sudden, the definition of a light year is how long it takes light to travel in a year.
But what if there was another thing called subspace?
Exactly. And so the subspace would be amazing because you could just talk to someone instantly no matter where they are.
Right. Yeah.
Such a cool idea.
It is cool. I'm glad that they didn't try to do something actually the mycelial network is subspace.
No, yeah. I'm very happy they didn't do that.
Although we did get some mycelial network shenanigans in these 3 episodes.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's going to be their, every now and then we have to fall back on a shenanigan, and this is going to be the one they do in this show, I guess.
They don't have LeVar Burton to no-sell the science. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Their engineer is tied up too deeply in this fungus stuff, so we're going to have to get it.
Yeah. I have a funny thing that I noticed on these, and I think it means, JJ, that the title of We Were Gamers is correct. Did you know... do you watch this? You watch this through the CBS app, right?
I mean, there is no app on my computer.
Oh, you watch it on... Okay, I watch it through the app on my phone, right? And then I Chromecast it to my TVs, so...
Okay,
but you use it through the CBS website or whatever?
Yes.
Do you do it with ads or with no ads?
I believe the subscription that we are using does not have ads.
Okay. So I recently stepped down to the ad-supported subscription due to the current economic climate.
Reasonable.
And so the last rash of episodes, I noticed most of them were drug ads.
Like medications?
Well, yeah, hey, if you're feeling old in your knees, you need this. Hey, if you got a lot of sciatica pain, you need this. All that sort of stuff. It was basically every ad for the last 3. And this set of ads, because you can't film new ads right now, you have to kind of use stock footage, or you could do one person footage where they set up a camera.
You can film a bunch of individual scees.
Right, exactly. I noticed it was still drug ads, but Advil really wanted to know, if we were okay, with a lot of text on the screen.
The corporation was very worried about you specifically.
I was more
so nice of them.
I was more taken, because those ads, I I work in this field. They're very rote, and they require a lot of filming of B-roll and things like playing in the park with your grandkids and fishing off a dock with your son and going to the movies with your wife.
You gotta have
all
generally
the things that you couldn't do because now you're on IBS medication, you know?
Right. Stock footage galore.
Right. And so now it's like, what do? You just run the same things with new text, or do you? But yeah, anyway, I just thought it was funny that like apparently Star Trek is for people much older than us.
I've started to notice anytime an ad comes on and it shows something from the before time that I immediately just go, this is dumb. I'm not going to.
Yeah. Why aren't they in masks?
Yeah, exactly. It's these people are going to the movies. You can't go to the movies. What are they doing? That's insane. Like that kind of stuff.
Well, that's my experience watching ads, just so you know.
Okay.
All right. Should we get into it?
Yeah, man. These were some episodes. We're on episode 6.
6, 7, 8 today.
6, 7, 8 today. So for those of you out there who are following along, make sure you've seen those. And away we go. I knew coming into episode 6 right off the bat that I was either going to hate this episode or like it.
Okay.
Based on what what they kind of hinted at what the topic was going to be.
Should we just go for the spoiler and say whether you hated it or liked it?
I think I liked it.
I think that I don't know.
This is the one. Like this is the one I watched the longest ago, so it's like the haziest of the three.
I enjoy. Well, I usually leave these for the week of, and I just sort of watch them one a night.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I did.
I think that there's a big problem with this episode, which we'll talk about at the end, but it didn't stop me from enjoying parts of it quite a bit, and seeing the Ba'ul finally was pretty cool.
Yeah, even if I didn't really like whatever it is they're supposed to look like.
Yeah, that was weird. It was weird.
How does that creature evolve?
What is the water like on their planet that they're covered in some sort of weird sticky tar?
Yeah, exactly, man.
That's what I want to know. Okay.
Yeah. So this is a Saru episode, really. Here.
I'm glad that it was tied to the main story somehow, right? The Red Angel sends them a signal from Saru's planet instead of we just go back to Saru's planet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely like that. Because I feel like Saru got some characterization in a few episodes ago, right? When the sphere was happening and he went through
Vaharai.
There you go. Thank you. And his little tentacle ganglia fell off.
Mm-hmm. Did you catch at the beginning of this the little teaser of like there's something forming in your head? Oh, so later on in this he has spikes, new spikes or whatever. But at the beginning we open up in the medical bay with a super yoked Dr. Culber.
Yeah.
That guy got fit in the meantime.
Yeah. I mean, his body is new, see? So by new, they meant like he just worked out a lot.
Oh, yeah. Explain that, because that was pretty funny.
Oh, so he died, right? He died.
Yes, he did died.
They got him back at the end of one of the last... was it the last week or the week before that? Mm-hmm. The last time we recorded. Mm-hmm. I think it was the last one, right?
It was the last one. They got him back.
Yeah, they got him back from the mycelial network. They saved his essence or whatever that was trapped over there or something.
They reconstituted him here.
Yes. And so he's there and he's back. And Stamets is very happy about it. But he's kind of like not... Culber is kind of confused about himself because he has these memories, but his body is like reconstituted, so it's not the same body, right? It's different particles, but it makes the same thing.
It seemed like they just didn't want to use the word like dysphagia because that's a real thing where your
Right.
body becomes disconnected from your emotions, right? Like you
Right.
love pancakes, but you can't even smell them. That's aphasia, I think, actually, or something. But like, there's different types of phasias where your body can
Yeah.
lose
It's a.
sensations, and it
I
seems
think
like
the
they didn't want to step on any of those here, so they kept tiptoeing around like the fact that his memories don't match his lived
right
experiences anymore.
and that's like a thing, people have like, certain, mental disorders and certain things where they feel that they are not themselves, right?
Yeah,
Almost like out of body but in body experiences kind of things.
yeah,
And that's definitely a thing that happens, to people in real life.
yeah.
Obviously, no one in real life is being reconstituted out of matter or whatever. And it is definitely like a one of those like, what is the nature of a person kind of questions that you think Star Trek would be good at exploring since they've done things like that before.
Mm-hmm.
Like what are clones and are robots people and
We may
these
get
kinds of
there.
things that sci-fi is good and interested in exploring. But we don't get there in this episode. So
No, I think we just have to keep reminding ourselves that Discovery is not the. This is Culber's episode to decide how he will be as a person. This is Saru. Like TNG did
yeah,
that really well. Here's an hour. Here is what's gonna happen in that hour. Yeah, some stuff carries over, but this is definitely that show where it's like, no. This is about the plot. Like there will be character stuff along the way, but Culber we'll know if we don't like him or like him 6 episodes from now, not this episode.
yeah. You only get little pieces of the other people who aren't involved in the plot mainly today.
Burnham, Pike, Saru.
Saru in this one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So I mean, let's talk about kind of what goes on.
Okay.
So, okay. I just had to talk about early in this scene in this episode. Did you make a note about this? There's this one scene where the camera is spinning around, and I couldn't. It's like stop spinning the camera, like please. It literally does like 5 180s. It's just like keeps going and going and going. It's like constant pan.
Yeah.
Like I got so dizzy. It was awful.
With
What
this,
is it? What
are
we
you talking
doing?
about where Saru is kind of losing his mind?
No.
He's got there's like an early scene in this where Saru's on the bridge and he just starts to get super aggro on everybody, and like steps up on Pike and all that sort of stuff.
So this was
prior to that.
I think this is where they're in Pike's quarters
Okay.
and or the ready room or whatever.
Right.
And it's like they detect the signal or whatever, and they're all debating and talking or whatever.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember if Saru was there or not. But
The
camera is just on a constant pan. It's like person talks, person to the left of them talks, person to the left of that person talks, person to the left of that person talks. Now we're back around to the beginning again, and we've just done a bunch of 360s, and the camera is constantly moving. And I just got so sick. I was like, stop this. Have a normal scene. Stop. Don't spin the camera.
You're not gonna like.
That?
Did you see 1917?
No.
So this is like a newish camera technique because cameras are so much smaller, where you can basically create. Sets now are not sets with fake walls as much as they are lived-in pieces, and so a lot of camera experiences are trying to like explore what that means, and this is one of those things that 1917 doesn't do this exactly, but Birdman, 1917, these types of movies where they want to
thing in 1917 they did the whole movie as one take.
Yep.
That's the thing.
Yeah, it's not one take, but it's kind of like that. Yeah, and that you get these kind of weird camera movements where you're like, how do we spin this so that we can cut here? And so you get kind of like these weird camera motions that do make you a little bit ill.
Yeah. So anyway,
it's because it's one of those things that your body just doesn't do, right? And it's not something we're used to because your body.
I got the impression of standing in the center of a table,
right?
And like inside the middle of a table,
Yeah.
right? And then constantly rotating myself around so that like
Yep.
I can't focus on Burnham while she's talking because we're drifting over and there's Saru in the frame and now Saru's talking.
Yep.
And it's just like,
That's the thing, right? Like
and they don't ever do it again, as far as I can tell. And I was like, why did you even do this? What was even the point here?
It's experimental. It's filmmaking, quote unquote. But
look, man.
Yeah.
Don't use your experimental filmmaking in my Star Trek.
Okay. Can't get too futuristic here. It's fine.
What? This isn't futuristic. It was terrible.
It's not great. It was
bad.
I
don't know.
I don't prefer it. I would prefer you linger on people so that you see their reactions, and that I just find cameras that behave like you're in the room a little bit more comforting. But that's just me, and I agree with you. Like I wouldn't want to watch that again.
I don't think I think their intent here is they're like, oh, this is becoming a tense scene. Everyone's arguing. They're trying to figure out what's going on.
Because this is where Saru starts to like let on that he's pretty aggro about this Baul thing, with the whole Vihari and all that. Which I think once we get through
you are right.
Once we get through the meat of what happens in this episode, I think we have to. This might be the second longest discussion that we're gonna have today about like how other Trek would have handled this. But let's blast through it real quick.
Yeah. So there's a signal again from an incursion or whatever from the Red Angel.
They've figured out that these are time portals now.
Yes, I don't know when they decided to figure that out, but they definitely did.
They just sort of did it off camera, I guess.
And it's coming from Saru's homeworld, so they're like, "All right, we've got to go over there and see what's up with this." They get there, of course, it's already gone because that's how this works.
Mm-hmm.
And they then decide that they got to go down there because that's the only safe thing to do. Which again. I don't really see how that's the case.
Yeah, this is challenge number 1. We could bend rule 1. Why? Why do you need to bend rule 1? Just don't go down there.
Yeah, like I have notes later that are like, nah, let's just ignore General Order 1, whatever.
Yeah. If they imagine what happens if they don't send Saru down there.
Even like, okay, like I get that the culture's very insular or whatever, and they're not going to just be like, hello, alien. Like, okay, so you got to send Saru, right? Okay, but you should send more than one person with him and someone who's not his like best friend. So that way, like, there's a little bit of a check on his impulse.
Some of the bridge crew in this show is criminally underused. Owo did a great job in that episode where she was on the landing party with Pike. They should send her on
stuff. Yeah. Of course, the person that they meet is Saru's sister because that's like...
Well, they went to his village.
Why would we go to, if we're trying to stay undercover, why would we go to a place where we could be recognized? Let's go somewhere else. No. Let's go directly back to his village so we can meet the one character alive who knows who he is.
Knowing full well that the Baul are watching because those machines are connected to a giant network to spy on.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, like, of course you were going to get his sister. And, they talk and whatever. And amazingly, he doesn't just, like, start the revolution right there.
Yeah, he controlled himself for 5 minutes.
Yeah. And then he starts getting super aggro from here on anytime anything about the Baul is mentioned.
Very aggro.
It's just like Pike starts to talk, tries to do some charming negotiation as he loves to do.
Oh, he does. Yeah, because the Baul are like, hey, what were you doing? And then they ask for Saru.
They're like, give us the Kelpian
Saru.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Pike, in the middle of what would have been a fine Pike negotiation, I'm sure Saru
Saru's like, no, we will not give in to the oppressors.
Yeah. This is post his conversation where some of the bridge crew had to break up a almost fight between him and Saru, right? Like,
yeah, man. He just got super aggro.
Yeah, there's a funny line later on too. In the later episodes,
I really just had like as this scene started, and Saru was on the bridge. I wrote a note that said Saru's gonna mess this up, and then 2 seconds later, I wrote "Yep."
Yep. I had one point. I have a note in here. I think where before he went down to the planet, I did one of those things where I put my head all the way back in my chair and just went, by myself. I was alone in a room going like, oh no.
Yeah.
I did wonder for a minute if the writing was going to go the direction I didn't think, and Saru was actually losing it due to Vaharai, and like the Baul needed to like help him out.
So I thought for a while, before we actually met the Baul here, which happens kind of pretty close to this as well.
Oh, I wonder if you had the same thought as me. Good, keep going.
Was that the because for the beginning of the show and until now, you've never seen a Baul.
Right.
It's all been technology.
Right.
It's all been like they have these networks and these little drones and all this stuff. And I was like, oh, I know what this is. They collect people, right? But actually, it's because the Baul are the Kelpians.
Right. Yeah. I thought
and it's just like it's like the lower it's like, you know, the children and then the like adults or whatever.
Yep.
And they collect the Kelpians and then, you know, bring them up into their like other system, but they need the lower ones to like farm or whatever because they're not able to or something.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it
No, I definitely
like
had
that.
a same like, okay, so with the Vahari they kind of like change and then
become Baul.
Become
right? Like,
Baul.
that was kind of the thought.
It's like a civilization name, not a race name. But then they kind of like shot that down multiple times as the episode went on.
Yes,
before you see
like,
one, you kind of just like get the feeling like this is not where we're headed with this. And then there was the whole, are we headed towards the Baul are at least going to help Saru because they know, you know, like, okay, they do eat the Kelpians, but, you know, maybe they can help Saru or something.
You know, I didn't know if it was, they didn't actually eat the Kelpians, right?
Right,
like,
sure.
Because all of it was they... You know, Saru's village assumes they eat them because that's what they were told.
Right.
But, like, you know, who knows what they actually do. And so I wasn't sure there. But
good thing we have the
as
magic orb disc for finding out all this information from some weird computer thing.
Yeah, pretty helpful of them to have gotten that exact, like, information from the giant magical orb. But then as soon as you see... It's
funny because it's literally the truth, right? Like,
yeah, I know,
the giant magic orb gave us the answer.
Oh, very convenient. No, but the Baul are, as soon as you see them, right, you're like, oh, okay, they're being really subtle here by making them black nightmare monsters. They're definitely not helping anyone. It's just going to be evil bad guys. It was
like, oh, okay. You know, the transmissions and everything else start to add up, and you're just like, I see. They're just making them evil. Oh, that's too bad.
Nothing was being disguised.
You know what's funny?
There was no deeper meaning. Everything was, these were just bad guys.
Again, I still have stuff to say after this about whether they're bad guys.
So we get to the
Baul.
Saru.
Oh yeah, sorry, Saru.
Yeah,
Saru turns into a superhero.
Yeah, kind of. He gets all like swole and starts shooting spikes out of his neck. And
Swole-ru, am I right?
Dude, yeah, he gets buff and
rips the chains meant for a Vahari Kelpian. And, somehow he rips through the chains, and then also thankfully all the drones have the parts that he needs, and then also thankfully if he punches through the floor he can send out a signal.
Yes, it was very convenient that he knew how to do all of that. Thankfully,
he punched through the floor, DJ.
Well, I mean, you know, he did not skip arm day. He may have skipped leg day. We don't know.
You know, his arms move like the characters from Arms. So maybe they're kind
very
of
wavy,
springy, and like he can cock them back and like shoot them out.
Spring-loaded punches.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Like, boing. Anyway, so this is the part where I have the note about like General Order 1. What's that? Never mind. Let's just like do whatever we want.
Hold on. Oh my god, this part. Let's make every Kelpian on the planet go through Vahari all at the same time without giving them the choice.
Yeah, it seems like we're just going to be like, yeah, it's just like, nah, let's not even just do something to everyone on the planet without their consent.
Or not even just that. Disable the Baul.
Right. It's neither of those things, right? It's cripple the entire like Baul network and the system that they've used for thousands of years, cause immense physical pain to every single Kelpian on the planet without their consent, and do it all at once in the span of like 30 minutes.
And then, because you did it, need to be bailed out by the Red Angel.
Exactly. It's like, oh, haha, we have this, like, we're going to cause the revolution today, all at once. And then, because the Baul are like, worried about insurrections and these sort of things, they turn on the, like,
mega death laser killing
mega
machine.
Death laser. And yeah, the Red Angel shows up and is like, let's not, though.
Yeah. Yeah. Although one of the best
and this is the first
action
time
scenes right here happens where they're getting ready to shoot the torpedoes off. I wrote it down because I love this. He's like, we can't target all those things. And Pike gives the order. He's like, arm the photon torpedoes. First of all, photon torpedoes. We're up to photon torpedoes now. Not class whatevers, photons. So that happened sometime in the last 2 episodes or 3, right? Between the shooting the magic orb with a torpedo that was a class whatever, and now we have photon torpedoes.
Couldn't they just have both though?
No. Well, we read the entry last time, and so far people thought they were a predecessor torpedo, but maybe you're right. Maybe you know what? Maybe they're just trying to use up old stock.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we got these old ones, but we only have like 50 photon torpedoes. Let's not just use them.
Right. But there's a great
we
shot.
Need to blow up stuff.
There's a great shot here where he's like, arm them, and the camera like whip pans from Pike to the weapons station, and as it's whip panning, the weapons officer does this like finger rack along the weapons panel where it's like a piano where he just sort of like hits all the red lights and they all come on.
He's like, arm.
He doesn't push them all. He racks his finger along them. It's a really great shot. I really love it. It's like one of those like, oh, okay, sweet. You thought about this before you shot it. That's awesome. Yeah. Sorry, I have to point that out when I see it because we were talking about camera work earlier, and it was like, this is good. Anyway, Red Angel saves them.
Red Angel saves them.
Saru sees that it's a man in a suit.
Right. This is the first time you see that it looks like some kind of person in a suit with like, mechanical parts or whatever.
You're right. I should say person in a suit. We don't know if it's a man or woman.
We don't know if it's a man or woman. We also don't know if it's a human or some other thing. Yeah. Okay. And so, the day is saved.
Hooray.
The Baul are magically ignored and we don't have to worry about them anymore. Saru and his people are great and everyone is happy for having been caused immense pain.
The revolution has begun and it's all peaceful and everything's rainbows.
Magic. Nice.
Okay, so can we talk about this?
Yeah.
This would not have happened in TNG.
Gee, no kidding. You think it wouldn't have happened? Yeah.
I don't even understand. I don't even understand how it happened under Pike.
Let's cause billions of people on a planet immense physical pain without their consent.
So much that they're going to feel like they're going to die.
Yes.
I can't even track how immoral that is. Just that part of it to broadcast the signal. Like, first of all,
whatever Saru wants to say that it's for their benefit or whatever, even if it is, you can't just do that, man.
No, you can't. Like, and like the bridge crew makes the plan, and Pike is just standing there like, okay. Like, he doesn't even say that that's... Oh, man. I don't... And then you have the historical data from the magic orb where it says that the Baul were basically almost wiped out.
Yep.
Okay, well, morally speaking, you'd have to be like, well, this version of the planet is the one where the Baul don't get wiped out. So if we step in here, are we causing the extinction of the Baul? Like, that's General Order 1 again, right? Like,
well, they already threw General Order 1 all the way out the window. You don't even have to think about whether
I guess Baul are warp capable
times. They're super ultra violating it. So who cares? Like, it's bad. I don't like the way this conflict was set up. I don't like the way they resolved it. and I really don't like. I enjoyed the episode and kind of the ride I got to go on here,
Yeah,
but I don't think I enjoyed really the premise.
I think I agree with you that I found moments to really like here.
Because
I
like
really
some of the
hope.
scenes with Saru and his sister were quite good, I
Yeah,
thought.
I think so.
There was, I don't know that we talked about him a bunch, but like I did enjoy that stuff. The way that the the literal Deus ex machina of the Red Angel, coming in and saving the day, was fun.
I like the Baul in theory.
Yeah, I liked that we got to explore what the Baul were and like how how they what they're actually doing with the Kelpians and that stuff. I'm glad we got to see that stuff rather than just having it be a magical mystery. But yeah, I don't like the way they did this. I feel like there was a way to broker a peace or a way to bring about, you know, free one village instead of trying to free the whole planet.
Well, and there's this moment in this thing where the Baul tell Saru they don't know you don't know what you are. Well,
Mm-hmm.
Vaharai seems and supported by the two episodes after this, where Saru basically is just like non-fear Saru now, right? Where he has maybe a little bit more aggressive tendencies, but it seems to have chilled out since this episode. There's a opportunity with Vaharai to be like, this is a really big deal, and the Baul are kind of right. Like, if the Kelpians get off this planet, they're gonna be like murderous killing machines. You know,
Yeah.
there was some version of this where there was a moral conundrum to be had
Right.
instead
It's like
of
the
them
Baul
expecting
then
you
say like,
to.
"Oh, we did this to the Kelpians. We need to go now do this to everyone." Like, yeah,
Sure, that
like
could happen too.
they have a space empire. It turns out, and like you're overthrowing, freeing millions of
Okay,
civilizations with
yeah,
this rather than
yeah.
one, right?
They you could do
That's
that. You could do.
a little more a little more
Yeah.
acceptable.
There's also the version of like, okay, well, the Baul actually are right, here, and we
Yeah,
got to
I mean,
broker a
you
peace
know, the,
maybe, or I don't know.
right.
It's
Like there's a bunch of stuff, and there's a whole like Burnham and is kind of just like, yeah, let's do all this, but like why as like an exobiologist or something she is, right?
right.
Isn't
Yeah.
that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So why isn't she like respecting the fact that evolution happened here?
Yeah.
The Baul uh were being hunted,
To
down
death.
by this evolved version,
Right.
and they evolved to gain all this technology
Yeah.
to that's evolution as well. Like that counts, you
Hmm.
know? So, and like they're using it in a bad way. I think we can all agree here, but I think that, it's weird that they would then say that this is unnatural and we should then go like because this was a biological evolution, it's okay, but technology is not. It's very weird and very, very strange. Yeah, a lot of problems. A lot of problems.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
at the end of it, and then Burnham says, "Oh, I need to go home." That's the
Yeah. At the
lead
end of
into
this,
episode
yeah, the
7.
whole point of this is that Burnham realizes she needs to go to Vulcan. It's like
Right.
what? I don't know. I really was very once we got to the end taken aback by like they didn't it didn't even feel at the end of it like they tried. It seems like a
Mm-hmm.
bunch of it was lip service to the morals of the Starfleet code, but not much of it actually in practice.
Yeah, it was bad. I think there's even oh well, it's a different episode. We'll talk about it when we get there.
Okay. Well, enjoyable to watch, not enjoyable to think about.
It is it is another instance of this show, right? There have been several instances as we've watched Discovery going along here of this show doing. We need to come up with something cool. Who cares the consequences of what actually is happening here? We want something cool on the screen,
Yeah.
and this didn't need to be like this. They could have had a interesting, thoughtful, sensible resolution to this and instead they came up with a cool fight scene and some explosions.
I just want you to remember for later that the Baul ships have squid arms.
Okay.
I have a theory at the end of all this.
Okay, we're going to talk about that stuff. Don't worry. So we get into episode 7. And Burnham says she's going to go find Spock. Got to go home to Vulcan.
Right. Best line in the show happens right here.
Which one?
When Tyler comes on the bridge and is like, "Where's Burnham?" And and Spike's like, "Personal days." And he goes like,
Section 31 has been unbelievably shady at the end of that Baul incident.
"Oh, that's a good point." Yeah.
We forgot to talk about that, but it's just it's a quick little thing. But like, they're like, you need to tell us everything.
Right?
No,
like, you can't.
Yeah,
you can't talk. You can't talk about the Red Angel or Burnham or Spock without telling us. And so we open up with Tyler being like, "Where's Burnham? It's my business to know where Burnham is." And he's like, "Nah, personal day." And what is he? Tyler like rips off his Section 31 badge and he's like, "You got to tell me," and tosses it at Pike, and Pike tosses it back at him. He's like, "Nah, the chair outranks the badge."
Yeah, it was so good.
The chair outranks the badge is such a good, like, yeah, no, this is my ship. I'm going to do what I want.
Yeah. How about no?
Yeah.
They also love to talk about tachyons right here.
Oh, well, look, I mean, they're at the edge of a time vortex.
Oh, which, by the way, hold on. Where did that come from? So let's go back. Where? When did this time vortex appear? No one at the end of the last episode was worried about any vortexes or anything.
No, where are we, by the way? I don't even know where we are.
I think we're still around Saru's homeworld. No one is worried about them down there.
No one's okay. Whatever. Apparently the Baul don't care that they're just hanging out there still.
Yeah, don't they? Wouldn't they have vested interest in knowing?
This is only support. This is even more supportive of my going theory then.
So there's some problems there. With all these tachyons.
They're having time slippage.
Yeah, they call it like what did they call it slippage?
I don't even know. They were
multiple
time problems.
Yes, there are a lot of time problems happening here.
Because like one of the time problems is fine, but the other time problem is distortion, and distortion is not fine.
Yes. We also get some kid flashbacks of Burnham and young Spock here.
Oh yeah. Well, we got to get to Vulcan first, don't we? For that.
There's one of her early on.
Oh, at the very beginning, right?
Yeah.
Where she shows where she like just remembers being at home or something.
Right. She remembers being at home and her mom reading Alice in Wonderland, right? Isn't that part?
Mm-hmm. And like, oh no, she's like playing with Spock.
Oh yeah.
And they're learning how to do the Vulcan salute.
Right. Yeah. It's like a little home life flashback.
Well, back when they got along, kind of thing. Like, this is what it was like before. We're gonna find out, more about their eventual breakdown.
Right.
But this is what it was kind of like. Man.
So she does get to Vulcan.
Amanda, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I thought at first she wasn't angry at Burnham anymore, and then you find out no, she's still really mad at Burnham.
Still really mad. Very clearly lying.
I like that. You've never lied to me. That's how I know you're lying.
Yeah. I know, like, just the way she answered every question was like the non-answer answer.
You could see she did a really good job. I don't know the actress's name. I feel really bad about that, but yeah, the non-answer, like, where is he? Well, I couldn't possibly tell you where he is. Where is he? Well, if I knew where he was, I wouldn't tell you. It's like, okay.
Yeah. And again, a lot of like, I'm not answering your question directly, and I'm not saying I don't know where he is. Right?
Been on
Both
Vulcan
of those things
too long.
Are true. Yeah, exactly.
She did a great job acting through this, where she just gets more and more prickly. Of like, you could tell that she was trying to be nice to Burnham when she came in the door, so that Burnham would leave. And then as Burnham's like just keeps questioning her, she's getting more and more upset at her.
She's just getting annoyed as the whole thing goes. It's just like, go away. Ah.
Yep.
It was a good scene.
We finally get to see Ethan Peck as Spock.
Yes. And he's not doing all right. He's having a bad time.
That is no. He is not doing fine.
Yeah, he's carving some numbers into the wall and muttering to himself,
drawing the Red Angel,
drawing things.
He's in some sort of temple that shields him from psychic connection or something.
His mom took him to the magic temple place underground where no one could make the psychic Vulcan connection with him, because that's what his dad has been trying to do for months or something. It's just what?
Okay, whatever.
I have a lot of questions.
We could just,
none of them are going to be answered because this show doesn't.
It's funny because if you don't mention that he's trying to find him through psychic stuff, then you don't have to do the psychic stuff. But
right.
No,
exactly.
Hold on. But they do a good job of being like, but we did establish that he can just reach out across the universe. So you gotta probably take this on and explain why he can't find. I
get it.
It's one of those Clone Wars, which I watched recently, does a lot of forgetting that people can use the Force. We're not talking about
Star Wars in this Star Trek podcast here.
But they do a lot of forgetting that you can use the Force for things, right? And so this at least...
You mean how people in all of these shows forget that they have amazing technology that could solve all these problems.
Right, sure, yeah.
They have deflector dishes, and I haven't seen anyone try to use a deflector dish yet.
That's not true. And there's somebody that uses a deflector dish later on.
Good, because I feel like there's a lot of these problems they could have been trying to solve,
well, they don't use it to solve problems. They use it to create more problems.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, so meanwhile, Burnham is seeing that Spock is not in a good way.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, Tyler is just really getting mad about everything that's going on.
Super antsy in his pantsy about Pike and he are not getting along, and they're sniping at each other, and Tyler's like, well, you didn't fight in the war kind of thing. And Pike's like, well, I'm the captain and I know better than you, and you need to listen to me even though you don't respect me, and all. This is very snippy and good, well written. I think.
No, not bad. It's just, and so
have you noticed while they're trying
back and forth between two scenes,
right? Yeah.
There's the scene with Pike and Tyler sort of forces himself onto this away mission where they're going to send a shuttle in. They tried to send the ship in, and it went really bad.
It did.
To this anomaly, right?
Yeah, it doesn't go super good. And
so they're like, okay, so we're going to send in one shuttle because somehow that's better.
Yeah.
And Pike is somehow a really great pilot. Okay,
he used to be a test pilot. They explain that.
Yeah. Oh, right. So he's uniquely qualified at piloting a shuttle. Okay. And Tyler forces himself onto the mission because he needs to know. Also fine. And meanwhile, they get these time flashbacks of things that haven't happened yet, but they look like things that have.
Right.
And you see this flashback of Pike aiming a phaser and shooting at Tyler.
Right.
And Pike realizes this didn't happen. Why would I do this? He just kind of tries to brush it off, but he has this thought in the back of his mind a little bit. And so it kind of causes this extra tension between them, right?
Right.
Tyler's being insubordinate, doesn't want to do the leave these plasma trails that Pike wants to do. He's not really, he's questioning everything he wants to do, and they're kind of sniping at each other a little bit here and there, and you just have in the back of your mind, is he going to shoot him over this? No, he wouldn't do that, right?
Yeah, that's well done, I think.
And yeah, so the back and forth between these scenes is pretty good. You get these kind of exciting and also puzzling scenes with Pike and Tyler as they're being sucked in,
and the discovery. You jump in there to try it because they're trying to find them because they're lost in the time vortex.
Right. Yeah. This little anomaly turned into a giant vortex somehow. We didn't.
Well,
really
the probe seems to have either triggered it or been a problem because they launched a probe into it to try and figure out some stuff about it, and that didn't go well.
Right. Okay, yeah. Somehow this probe changed everything.
Yep. Which comes back later, right?
Right. So that then
Did you notice?
we
I just noticed it here.
Mhm.
Technobabble is a term that comes
Mhm.
from Star Trek pretty regularly.
Mhm.
Did you notice that like over the course of Discovery's seasons here, we've gone from Technobabble normal stuff to now what I think I'm dubbing this hustle babble.
I don't know what that means.
So it's not like you used to have where Geordi or Balana or whoever would like stare at the character they're talking to and like they go through 4 or 5 lines of techno stuff about what they're gonna do, right? And then the captain would be like, okay, do that. Now it's like two tech characters talking to each other while they're rushing to do something, and mostly they're just saying, we need to rush to fix this.
Yeah.
They don't like pause and try and do the whole like explain the universe moment anymore. They just sort of like run to the next problem.
A continuing problem with the show.
Right.
That
I just
not
noticed
that
it
it's
while
not that they have to stop and explain everything,
right, but like
that
in
their
this,
dialogue
but
en
in
route to other things
yeah,
is more just about yes, we're en route to this thing.
yeah, and that's what I noticed here with Stamets and Tilly, where basically they don't really explain, like they just sort of throw it out there again. Well, the mycelial network makes me immune to temporal distortions. So we're going to stare at this computer and talk about how they're in danger a lot and then hustle talk to the bridge where I'm going to beam myself onto their ship. And I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, we didn't really explain how that was possible.
And this is a problem later because making yourself immune to time whatever is like the antithesis of the argument about what has happened to Spock.
Yeah.
So you'd kind of wonder why they don't tardigrade everybody's DNA. I am confused a little bit by
Yeah.
the creation of Hustle Babble.
I mean, like it's not something that they invented here. It's just something you just noticed, right?
Yeah.
'Cause they've been doing that kind of thing for a while in this show.
It seems like it's gotten more glazed over recently. Anyway, this was something I noticed in the middle of this episode, so I had a lot of notes about it right here where we were.
At some point, we cut back and Sarek does eventually show up in the secret underground lair.
Yeah. Pretty funny.
And he's kind of a jerk to both Amanda and Spock about this whole situation.
Mostly
He's just
Amanda.
like, well,
Spock
you
can't
can
really
understand
hear him,
why
right?
he. Well, unclear whether he can hear him or not, but definitely you can understand why he would be upset with Amanda, even though Vulcans don't get upset.
Yeah, she's like shouting about diplomatic immunity at everybody, and it's like, lady, this is your family. Just chill for a second and talk to them.
And then he's like, he shows up and he's like, "Who's diplomatic authority again? Like, you're doing what with my job now, huh?" And he's really kind of it lays down the law here,
Ultra Vulcan about it, whatever.
right?
It
It's
is.
like this is wrong.
He
This
murdered
shouldn't be
people.
what he murdered people. We can't have that. And even if he's innocent, which he probably is, because I know my son, this isn't how we do this. Like he's like, here are the rules. We're gonna follow them. Let's go.
Yeah.
But he does eventually, in the end, come out to be that he does love his children, right?
Yeah. And
He's not just throwing them to the wolves.
he says something along the lines of that he's only willing to do this because Burnham's gonna put her career and life on the line again to protect her brother, right?
Right. And at the end, he's like, I can't lose both our children.
I didn't quite capture that. Like, is he saying like he can't?
Well, because he's like, if we
didn't
did
quite get
this
it.
right for Spock's career would be ruined.
Right.
Like if he's convicted and taken away for these murders.
Right.
And if Burnham saves him, her career would also be ruined, and so they would lose both of their children. That's the idea there.
Okay.
But it's not like they're like being killed or something. It's just both of their kids' careers would be ruined.
Okay.
I don't know. Anyway, So Burnham and Spock are like, let's go to Section 31.
Yeah, basically, right?
What?
Well, Sarek tells him that Section 31 is the place to go because Leland has promised that he'll take care of Spock. I don't know why Sarek would ever be like, yes, whatever
this
Leland
dude's up
said.
This dude's legit. Let's just listen to him. Yeah.
Right.
Meanwhile, so as they get ready to go to 31, we see the probe returns. And it has become a tentacle monster.
Okay. Tentacle monster, remember?
Alien squid arms.
It's got squid arms.
And the shuttle is having some bad times.
It jumps the shuttle and it like gets into the shuttle and then shoots some sort of data mining probe into the shuttle's computer.
Unclear why.
This is where you get the flash forward moment.
Yes.
Finding out that
you see that Pike is shooting the tentacle monster off of Tyler.
You
couldn't see that part in the flashback. You only saw them two shooting each other. So
right.
That was a good resolution to a fun little piece of tension in that scene.
Mm-hmm.
And then Stamets teleports in and just like presses some buttons on the computer and navigates them out. We're all good. But somehow in the middle of this, the robotic lady on the bridge gets hacked.
She was trying to
Or is this
stop.
later?
No, this is during when Stamets jumps the ship. Tyler starts trying to deactivate the thing while Stamets is trying to pilot them out.
Right, yes.
Because he transports over somehow or whatever, which is like hitting a needle in a pile of tweezers or I don't know what the heck they're.
They gave one of those dumb analogies that they always do
it's like
in
trying
every
to
Star Trek.
catch a fly with tweezers in a hurricane. I think is what they said.
He said it's like trying to catch a fly in a hurricane with tweezers. There was one more anyway.
Yeah.
It's very unlikely.
Anyway, but he does it anyway.
Of course he's good at it, so don't worry.
I think that Tyler is trying to remove the thing, and so as self-preservation, the thing, and then Arium, who is the cyborg lady.
This was the person's name I did not catch.
Arium is the cyborg woman, and she is trying to stop the computer from hacking.
The Discovery is being hacked at the same time.
Right, so she gets counter-hacked while she's trying to I think.
She becomes a Cylon is what happens.
Basically, yeah, she has these little triple lights.
Yeah, she becomes a Cylon.
And becomes a Cylon.
Surprise, surprise, 31 didn't have the best intentions in mind. I know you're shocked by this.
Yeah, because we find that out because Georgiou.
So you get to the Leland's like, we're to use this mind healing device. Don't worry, it's gonna be all good. A lot of good doctors here. Definitely no weird
problems.
Science.
Anywhere there won't be any problems. You should just. I got your leave extended. You should just go to the nearby starbase. We won't
take a week.
We wouldn't leave without you. We'll just come get you when he's all healed up.
Healed up good, like he's gonna be, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And then Georgiou, who is clearly scheming, as she is.
Yeah, scheming, but still has that weird love of. I mean, it's not weird, I guess. She seems to genuinely care somewhat. Small amount about Burnham, right?
But also sees this as a good opportunity to make Leland look really bad.
She never helps Burnham when it's going to make her look bad. And if there's an opportunity to help Burnham and make somebody else and further her own goals, then she's going to take it, right?
Yeah, and that's definitely this case, right?
Definitely.
So they meet in the hallway, and Georgiou's like, I got 60 seconds without the camera. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to fight me. You're going to go rescue Spock. That thing is going to rip his mind apart. And
because it's Terran technology, right?
She's like, I know because it's our technology.
Somehow.
And he's like,
well, how did they get
that? They don't say.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, what? And he's like, okay, fine. And she's like, so we got to fight. Let's go. And then Burnham sucker punches her right in the gut. I liked that. Then they have a fun fight scene because Michelle Yeoh is good at fight scenes.
She's really good. She's so good.
Yeah, she's a good actress.
Every
I like her.
I just want a Section 31 spin-off show.
Well, they already are talking about it.
Yep.
So they were talking about it since before this, I think. So anyway, yep, they escape because like, yeah,
Yeah, it's fine.
and Giorgio kind of like lets Leland know the score that she knows that he's the one that killed Burnham's parents.
Well, is responsible for their death.
Responsible, yeah. Well, look,
Did we did not cover
I
in
don't think
this?
we knew that.
Well, we also didn't cover in this that I think we were mistaken earlier on when we thought that the Red Angel saved Burnham from when her parents were killed. It seems that the Red Angel saved Burnham from when she ran away, right? Or is that in the next episode?
So they also said that the Red Angel appeared to Spock and told his dad where Burnham was
During when she ran away, right?
No, during the incident where that school was burning down, where he found Burnham.
Okay, got it.
So twice
All
there.
right, maybe, yeah.
And it ends when Burnham figures out that the numbers that Spock was scribbling were coordinates actually, but they were backwards because the Looking Glass. And they're gonna go to Talos 4, Andrew.
Oh boy.
Did you know when they said that what Talos 4 was?
Yes, I did.
Okay. I had to think about it for a bit. I'm like, why is that name
I definitely had that moment
familiar?
where I was like, Talos is familiar to me. Why? And then I thought about it for a second. I was like, that sounds like original Star Trek.
Yeah,
And then
I eventually was like, isn't that? Oh, that is the place from the original series. Yeah.
yeah, with which we should go back through, I guess, when we get to number 8, right here.
Yeah. So
Do we
they
have any
even
closing
opened.
comments on 7? I don't think so.
No, not really.
I mean,
No.
Giorgio's cool, and that's about it. Hey, they have greenlit the long rumored series. Giorgio will get her own spin-off Section 31 show. I don't want to read the rest of this because it seems like there's going to be spoilers.
I think I knew that already, though.
But it sounds like it takes off after this season of Discovery.
Which probably is sensible because I think they, probably some stuff's going to happen here.
Okay. Episode 8 with a glorious opening.
Yeah. This opening was so cool. By the way,
have you been watching the credits, the opening credits?
No.
They add stuff. Every few episodes they add stuff. So now there's like a cybernetic suit Red Angel instead of the Red Angel that was there earlier in the season, which was like the drawing version. This one looks like winged Iron Man.
Which is what the suit looks like now that we've seen it.
Yeah. Okay. That opening.
That opening was so cool. It's old Star Trek, the original
the pilot.
font. That's where Talos, that whole scene is from, right?
Right.
What's the name of that episode? The Mind Cage or something like that?
Inside the
Birdcage?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
This is bad prep on our part.
Mind's Eye.
Bad prep on our part.
All right. Anyway, but they show a bunch of scenes from it, right? Of Pike and the things that happen in that episode. Pike and Spock go to Talos. They meet this group of humans that live there.
The cage
there's one beautiful
and the menagerie.
Girl. The menagerie, yes.
And the cage. So, do you remember enough of it to do a recap of it or no?
Only like pretty briefly. I would not be. I could hit the high points, but I would not be able to tell you like.
Okay. So basically, what it is the Telosians live underground. Pike goes there because of a distress call from a crashed starship.
Yes.
And Vina, I think is her name, who is also in this episode, crashes there. Pike gets taken advantage of, basically.
There's a few humans on the...
No, Spock goes there, too, right? You know,
right. They have an away party. They go down.
Yeah. It's originally thought that the Telosians could only affect areas around their planet, so after Pike gets sucked into this like fake world where the Telosians are trying to keep people as like pets or zoo animals, basically.
Yeah, like
To
caged animals
they're
essentially, and
trying to
they're trying to essentially like
mine
mate him with the girl
with
they have.
Vina, yeah. But
Vina, yeah.
they try to keep them because they like to probe people's mind for memories because they don't have any. There's a Stargate episode that's very much like this, where they need new stories and interesting information and stuff like that. Because they're kind of like a hive, not a hive mind, but they are all psychics, so they can't. There's nothing new to them that doesn't come from the outside.
Right. So this is their like they do this because this is the way they like learn and live. How they absorb new information, right?
Right.
By experiencing new memories.
Right. So they open with some of the scenes from that. They don't really explain it, but they basically show you that Pike has been to Talos 4 before, and that
They
he
show
knows
you what the Telosians look like,
Vina.
and that Vina is still there.
Yeah. Cool. Very
It
cool.
was cool.
And then they do a really cool. They hold the image on old Pike and then switch to the bridge with new Pike.
Fade into the new Pike. Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought that was a very cool opening.
Very smart.
I made a note about that also.
It's good.
Like, hey, by the way, these are the same people.
It's good
Like,
because I'm sure most Star Trek people will have at least remembered that Pike used to be in Star Trek, but maybe they didn't remember Talos 4 and what was there and all that sort of stuff. So that's a cool opening.
I mean, it's entirely possible there are people who've come to the show more newly and don't know who Pike is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean,
it was
Pike
a cool
is
way
a
to show like
3-episode reference, right?
Yeah, I mean, he was only ever on the original series, like in that pilot, and then those couple of other episodes later in the run where they brought him back to do
the thing,
scenes from the pilot. Yeah,
to do the follow up thing with the thing that hasn't happened to him yet.
Yes, correct.
Spoilers.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Is it spoilers? We'll see.
Is it? I don't know.
Who knows, man?
I mean, technically in the timeline, that would be a spoiler, right? Because we're pre-Pike's disaster.
I mean, we're going to be pre-Pike's disaster for a while. There's going to be a whole show about him. So, I don't know how...
Yep.
I don't know how they're going to square that circle.
I mean, if the show ends on that, that'd be pretty cool.
That would be cool.
I mean,
I don't trust them to do that.
I know. It's a bummer. Prequels are really fun, but sometimes a bummer because nothing happens to them until something happens to them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anyway, moving on.
It's hard to have stakes.
It's very hard to have stakes.
Character immunity, right?
Especially, yeah, right. Like the top two characters from that Strange New Worlds show are going to be Spock and Pike.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly, right. All right, so moving into actually what happens in this episode, JoJo starts off by letting the Discovery know, like, for real this time, though, you better listen to what we're saying. Definitely not misleading you once again. You need to stay here and examine this stuff.
They ask them to stay and examine the probe and to not...
Don't go looking for
Burnham, which the plan from Georgiou is...
Of course, they will eventually.
They'll contact Discovery, and then we'll just follow them. I can't quite tell if Georgiou knew that Burnham and Tyler would be smart enough not to contact them until they were ready. Like, I don't
think she did.
I don't think Georgiou really cares if they find Spock and them.
Yeah, I don't think she does either. I get the feeling that she's just using the whole situation as a way to like get herself promoted in 31 somehow.
Right. Yeah.
And like kind of doesn't care about the outcome of any of this Red Angel stuff, really.
Yep. They need to slow down the Alice in Wonderland references, please.
Yeah, kind of
gets real heavy here.
Yeah.
But they get to Talos 4, which is a black hole, but not.
Right.
I love that they took the black hole stuff from Interstellar. Now that everyone knows that's what a black hole looks like.
I was actually just going to say that I kind of didn't like that they did it.
Oh, because it doesn't match black holes from the other parts of the shows.
It doesn't match black holes from other parts of the shows, but also it's just like, hey, this looks really cool. Let's put this in our show.
Well, it's how it's. I mean, that's what they think they look like.
Yes, I get it.
Okay.
but I don't like the people in this show getting to put cool visuals in their show because they just make things that look cool and they don't have any basis in science or reason for them.
But
They
that
were
one
lucky
does.
that they got lucky in this case that an actual science thing happened, and they're like, "Oh, we could put that in our show and it would actually make sense."
Okay.
The next time an actual science thing happens, they're not going to do it right, and they're just going to put some random reference to nanotechnology in this, and it won't make any sense.
All right.
Anyway, it was an illusion anyway, so who cares?
It's true.
They get to Talos, but Spock's like, no, it's not real, and like forces them into the atmosphere. They land, and they meet Vina, Vina?
Vina, Vina.
Yeah.
Vina kind of gives us and Burnham the rundown.
Yes, here's what happened, yada yada. I was stuck here. I'm actually ugly. Surprise. Which I think was kind of the like climactic moment of that original pilot.
I feel like the Talosians have learned their lesson a little bit, right? Like
they were like straight up about what happened. They're like, come down and meet the Talosians.
Yeah.
Like, they're not trying to lie that they're not there.
Right.
She's like, hey, they want to see you. Look, your brother needs some help. We can help him.
But you got to pay.
The price is you have to relive your most awful memory. Which, and I was like, the backstory is the price.
Yeah. Before they would have just done it. The beginning of this where they're like, and backstory is the price. I was like, have they been working towards this the whole time? Is Talos 4 going to be a big deal? I don't know, maybe not at the end of this, but
I don't think so based on the end. But I think it is funny that they'd been teasing this like awful thing Burnham had done. And you knew at some point they were going to have to talk about it. And this is the device they use to do that.
I'm good with it.
I mean, it's fine. This is definitely something that the Talosians would do, or it feels like something they would do anyway. I don't know why they chose this one and not the like other horrible things that have happened to Burnham in her life. Meanwhile, back on the ship, Hugh and Tyler are starting beef.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even write about down because this is kind of weird. I didn't even write it down. So
Tyler and Pike are still kind of testy, but Hugh and Tyler are really just kind of not.
I mean, Hugh basically like sees Tyler earlier and
in the hallway and like mean mugs him basically.
He starts stalking him.
He's like staring him down and stuff a lot.
Culber, like kind of just breaks up with what's his name. Is like, nah, I'm not who I was. Yeah. Stamets. Sorry,
buddy. Like have a lot of drama.
Stamets is a little overbearing, to be honest. Right?
Not wrong. Very true.
But Culber starts slapping bowls for the rest of the episode. Like literally every scene from then on, he slaps a bowl.
Yep. Saru mentions to Pike that someone has been making coded transmissions.
Oh yeah,
petabytes of data.
Of data,
it's a big amount.
Yep.
And Tyler's like, not me, and everyone's like, bro, it's you. We know.
Right.
And then apparently the cool thing to do is just have fights in Star Trek now.
Pike doesn't think that it's
about
cool.
This.
Okay, so hold on. We have to take it as it's given to us, right? Saru lets the fight happen
by saying this must be allowed,
but other people want to jump in and stop it.
I didn't see anyone trying to jump in and stop it. They all were just like, "Oh, dang, there's a fight." So like, this must be allowed.
Yeah, exactly. And then Pike tells him later that what he did.
Saru may have just as well been there chanting, "Fight, fight, fight, fight!"
Well, so like, that's the whole like. This is the moment of like, is Vahari still a deal? Can we get to the point that like, hey Saru, maybe you need to go on like a Vulcan retreat, buddy, because your actions are not acceptable anymore, kind of moment, right? And Pike starts to have that discussion with him at the end of this, and I really, 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 really hope that this is something that sticks when he tells him, hey, do you think that before your Vahara, do you think that you would have let that happen? And Saru's like, no, I wouldn't have. And he says, good, because you better not let it happen again.
He says, like, maybe we just settle our disputes by the uniform code of conduct instead of fisticuffs.
Yeah.
Which my note was, at least one person wants to follow the rules.
Yeah.
Apparently no one else did.
But see, we got to have Pike stop breaking the rules also. Like, I like Pike. I like that he's like one of those buttoned up Starfleet officers. Let's button it up, man.
Yeah, exactly.
A little bit. Not a lot of it.
So we see a bunch of flashbacks here with Spock.
Right.
How he escaped from the mental institution and supposedly killed people. You see him escape and definitely not kill anyone. And Burnham's like, what happened to these people? He's like, you're in the mind. You saw what I saw. What do you want from me?
Yeah, stop trying to accuse me. Why don't you believe me? I'm your brother. You're looking at my memories.
Yeah. You saw that. You see the scene of Spock on some random planet doing a mind meld with the Angel.
Oh yeah, the Angel calls him to a random planet instead of just like showing up somewhere else,
which it seems like the Angel could just do.
Right.
So that's very confusing.
And then he mind melds the Angel, which he says is human.
Oh yeah, so this is the part where he says that
the Angel has to be human because I felt fear and loneliness,
which are definitely not things other races have. So it has to be a human.
Right. Well,
good job, Spock. Just like literally every other race we've encountered could have those feelings. Like, it doesn't have to be anyway. I'm gonna assume that some mind meld magic there has told him it's a human, and it's gonna. I will now never, based on how this show has been working, I'm never gonna assume there are twists or deeper meanings to anything. Everything is what they're telling you that it is.
Right. Yeah. I was really hoping, like, I don't know. I still have a little bit of hope.
Maybe there's one twist at the end about which human it is that is this Red Angel, but very likely it is exactly what they've told us. It is a human in some magical suit. So
maybe this is a good time to say what I was going to say about this episode.
There's not even that much more to talk about. Like,
right, but let's just get to. I'm just going to say it now.
Okay,
and then we'll get to the end. But there's two types of swings to take. There's a swing where you think you're going to put it in the top deck. You're going to hit it so hard, you're going to not just hit it over hit it over the fence, you're going to put it out of the stadium, right?
Sure, you are going full power. You are trying to hit it as hard as is possible. Just go for it as much as you can.
This time stuff and the Red Angel and everything else is that type of swing. We are going to use the whole season to set up a mystery that you get such tiny pieces of. By the end of it, you're going to be just amazed at how it all fit together and you didn't figure it out. That's that type of swing. Then there's another type of swing that most baseball players know, is when you start, the pitcher lets it go and you start your motion and you can already tell you're going to hit it on the meat of the bat. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't matter where it goes because you're going to make good enough contact that you did your job. And that is this episode, I think, and bringing the Telosians back. I really enjoyed the Telosians being here. I enjoy how it connects to the original series. I enjoy.
I mean, it is fan service in a good way.
It is the best version of fan service, quote unquote, that you could get because there was a point in putting it all in here, and it connects a lot of disparate parts and it answers a lot of questions. That is the type of swing I like to see people take, because a lot of people that swing for the upper deck and they try to hit it out, you just kind of let down. And I'm not previewing anything. I haven't seen anything past episode 8. But
no, I understand what you're saying. Like, the danger of taking that huge swing, that like full power, all muscle swing, is that if you don't connect, or you don't connect the way you think you're going to,
you look ridiculous.
The ball ends up like a bunt, or straight line drive to the shortstop and you're
or
out.
you miss and you look
Or you
ridiculous.
miss and then you just look really terrible,
Yeah,
right? Like it could go all kinds of ways. One way is hitting into the outfield, right?
and that's one of those. I don't know if you watched Battlestar Galactica recently. I think you did, but
Not recently,
not
but
not
I have seen
recently.
it.
And that's one of those things that show did really well at the beginning was they took good cuts every single time. Every episode was trying to be its own self-contained ish thing that took good swings, and then you get later in that show and it's like, and then there's a mysterious signal, and like then you start the big swing for the fence of like, well, we got to end this show and we got to make it a big ending, and we got to make sure that all the disparate parts are connected and that all the backstory and mythology we've created all ties together. And it's like, sometimes take the little cuts, And so if Discovery for the rest of this starts to filter into what I saw here of this, like Talos 4 and connecting the shows back to each other, and it takes smaller swing that just connects, and we might be good. I don't know.
Well, we will see.
Yeah. Anyway, we can finish the episode. That was my thoughts here. Was like there was you could see in this episode the two different tracks they're on.
Mm-hmm. I think my only complaint, and I enjoyed this episode probably the most of these three. It was
guaranteed for me. Yeah.
It was definitely the most enjoyable to watch.
Yeah.
Except for the part where they just allow random fights on the ship. That part really made me angry.
I really don't like this version of Culber. I mean, like I
wrote that Hugh is just a jerk now. I don't want to see him anymore.
I waited 3 episodes of like, okay, cool. He's got like an identity crisis thing. This could be Star Trek, and it's just turned into like, great. Oh, we get to watch an angry guy walk around the ship for no reason.
Yeah, he's like a moody jerk and is just there to be annoyed. Like almost like to the point where it's like he's like a moody teenager, which is like not exciting TV typically.
I went into him coming back and I was like, this is going to be bad. And then once he was back, I was like, well, he's here. Let's give it the full benefit of the doubt. And then now kind of like, it's as bad as I was expecting.
We were right.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a character that died and deserved to stay dead.
Not because he deserved to die, but because once the character had died, it made sense to maintain those stakes, right?
Right. Well, it changed. We already talked about this. Moving on. Let's finish this episode.
Moving on. So there's not a lot left. It turns out that robot is obviously doing the bad stuff.
But they think Tyler's doing it.
But they think it's Tyler, so they're going to throw him in the brig.
Mm-hmm.
It's time for she's seen now all of the things Spock's wanted to show. Oh, did we mention that the Telosians say that Spock's mind is unmoored from time and logic?
No. Oh, no.
He's experiencing time as a liquid instead of a solid or something.
It's like
what?
Fluid. He said that they said that time. He's not perceiving time as in linear fashion. He's perceiving it as a fluid thing, and his anchor of logic cannot moor him. Right? He can't find himself again without their help.
And so the Telosians somehow fixed this.
Somehow they put him back in linear time, I guess. Because we can't assume that he's no longer in fluid time. Otherwise, right. Spock, for the rest of all the shows that have already been written, Spock would have already known the future. So,
yeah.
One assumes they, quote unquote, put him back in linear time.
So it's time for the price. We have to experience Burnham's really shitty memories of her being just a real jerk. A real mean little kid to Spock.
I liked how they did it, though.
It was a good scene. I didn't hate it.
They made the adult actors kind of finish acting it out, which was good.
Yeah. And, it turns out that they both said some real hurtful things, I expect. And, yeah, you can see why if you did that to someone when they were pretty young, they might not be real happy with you for a long time. I'd believe it.
Yeah. And, man, does he get her back here where he just, like, rips her.
Yeah, he's like, oh, yeah, you taught me a good lesson. The lesson is humans suck. I shouldn't ever want to be them. I was wrong to do that and to, believe in you and want to be family with you. I'm a Vulcan now. It worked. Good job. Thanks.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Oof. Thank gosh for
Oof.
Captain Kirk.
Yeah, man. Wow. And so then at the end, there's a little drama where 31 shows up right as Discovery shows up to pick them up, and they both have a tractor beam on them at the same, or not tractor beam, a transporter beam at the same time, which has never been a thing, I don't think. So that's very confusing. But they're like, oh, if one of us doesn't let go, they'll be beamed apart into atoms, and everything will be bad. So,
That's one of
they have
those
to let
things
them
that I
go.
kind of feel like no one ever thought of, but like maybe that could be a thing.
It's magic technology anyway. Sure, it could be a thing. Why not? I'm not angry about this. I just thought it was a funny device to use. There's like 10 different ways they could have done this same scene, right? They chose to have a tractor beam or a
Tractor tug of war.
they could have done that,
beam
right?
of
They
war?
literally could have had him in a shuttle with both of them pulling with tractor beams. They could have done that, but instead they wanted to do a transporter beam fight that we can't see.
Why couldn't they use that shuttle? Oh, they did use the shuttle, right?
They
Like,
did use
yeah,
the
they
shuttle,
they
right? And
hi-
so
they
the
hid the
thing is
shuttle.
like, oh, they beam them in, and Burnham and Spock are there again, and you're like, okay, time to hear them get questioned or whatever. And then a shuttle shows up, and Discovery takes it and flies away, and it turns out that the Telosians were helping him out.
They were projecting them.
Yes. And then 31's like, darn, they got away.
I
Shucks.
like no. Giorgio has a good
And they
line.
they don't do anything. They're just like, oh well.
Giorgio has a really good line. Well, it ends there. I mean, I assume they're gonna
It
do
does.
something the next episode, but Giorgio is
You would
just like, man,
expect.
this makes you look bad again.
Yeah.
Because
as if it wasn't your plan all along.
because she said, yeah, as if this wasn't her plan, because then she says like, I remember in my universe the Telosians did that to me and then I incinerated their planet.
Yeah, she's like, they tried that on me one time and then I blew up their planet.
Yeah.
You're just like, wow.
Yeah. Pretty good.
Pretty good. And then the last note is that they got the band back together at the end. You see, yeah, Pike puts his hand on Spock. He's like, Spock, it's good to have you back. And he's like, hello, Captain.
Spock smiles.
And you're like, yeah, the band is back together.
I'm excited to see what Spock and Pike are like together, because they're gonna have to make it different than Spock and Kirk.
Yes. Well, I like this character of Spock already is so like wrapped up in kind of the plot of this season that are we even going to get like fun Spock Pike moments that aren't just like what did you call it? Hustle talk?
Oh yeah, hustle babble.
Hustle babble where
That's my new
they're
That's
running
the new techno babble.
where they're running to the next thing and Spock is talking about how they need to do something about magic and technology for the Red Angel. Like, are we even going to get like fun, quiet character moments of them being bros or whatever? I don't know.
Unlikely,
if we are.
yeah. Unlikely. We'll see.
We will see because we're going to watch more of this.
Yep. There's only 2 more episodes of our podcast version of this left, because there's 6 episodes left.
Yes. Yeah. 14 episodes in the season, and we're on 8. So,
which means we will be 2-ish months behind in watching Lower Decks, which will give us a good amount of Lower Decks to talk about by the time we hit October. Because if we do one of these a month, it's August. Oh wait, it's July. So July 1, August 2, September 3. Yeah, so it's October for Lower Decks.
yeah.
That gives us a good amount, because they start in August for that new animated show.
Yeah. We'll see. I don't know. I'm not against watching it. I don't know if I want to watch like a 10 like, are they going to do like 500 episodes of this thing, or are they making like 10 and doing a season?
That's a
You know?
good question. The only thing I'm worried about is that it's supposed to be a comedy.
Yes, it is.
I don't even know who wrote Mike Mahan. Who did he do?
I don't know.
Mike Mahan.
Well, so we will
Anyway,
definitely
yeah.
watch some Lower Decks. I think there's no,
Oh,
we're definitely going to do that.
yeah. He
So,
worked on South Park and Rick and
uh,
Morty.
great. Those are cartoons that are generally liked. Um,
He's the creator of Pickle Rick. I don't know what any of that.
now I'm less excited.
Look, I don't know.
It's not his fault.
He's done animation and he's done animation comedy.
Sure. Okay. I mean, Rick and Morty is generally quite funny.
Jerry O'Connell's in it.
Okay.
Which should be funny.
He's in stuff.
Yeah. The first season. I can't find this quickly. Anyway.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We'll watch it eventually.
It's just it's going to be interesting to watch because they haven't done any animated since the 70s. Lower Decks will consist of 10 episodes.
Okay. Okay. Well,
so
we will see.
Yeah. There you go.
There also is supposed to be a season 3 of Discovery coming some point.
Okay. Are we ready to talk about my theory for 1 minute?
Did they get got by the COVID and so it's going to be delayed? I don't know.
I don't think so. I think they were mostly done already.
Okay.
They might have trouble. They might have trouble doing the animation though. That could get
like the
that
VFX
could get them
stuff.
got. Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll
All right.
see.
So,
are you ready? My
my
final theory.
Throw me
okay.
the theory.
Squid tentacles.
Mm-hmm.
Baul. Probe. His vision of the future. All very similar shaped objects with squid tentacles. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like in the vision of the future, it's literally just a big version of the probe that they launched, launching smaller versions of the probe that destroy the planet.
Mm-hmm.
Picard.
I was worried you were going to go here.
Mm-hmm. What came out of the thing, JJ?
Squid tentacles.
Squid tentacles. This is where we're at, buddy. Either they're doing it on purpose or somebody has a real problem with squid tentacles.
Yeah. They seem generically menacing. So,
yep.
I could believe that.
That's a lot of squid tentacle inside of a year.
So are you saying these are the ancient alien evil synthetics that came to kill us?
They said that the probe went 500 years in the future and then came back. And it had squid tentacles. And I can't imagine that would be just wholly not connected, right?
Well, we are doing time travel stuff, so who knows, right?
Yeah, sure.
So are you saying that this probe showed up in the time that weird ancient alien portal was open?
Maybe.
In Picard?
Possibly.
Discovery? The ancient aliens downloaded into the probe before the probe came back?
I think so.
Or it just showed up in the weird alien dimension.
It's got to be connected. 2258. Picard takes place 2399.
All right, so 500 years is much farther than that.
500 years is further ahead. Where the ancient aliens may have, taken over. Yeah. Destroyed the universe.
Okay. Sure, whatever.
Tentacles all the way down.
It could be. Mm-hmm. It also could be they wanted to reuse some art assets.
Oh, they weren't reused. Anyway.
I have given up trying to speculate because, like I said, I am now taking everything that this show tells me at face value and assuming there is nothing hidden because they have not shown any inclination to hide interesting tidbits around like this yet.
Okay. All right.
I will be happy to be wrong. And if it's like, oh no, we caused the alien apocalypse by launching that probe, it would be very cool.
It would be interesting if it was like, this is somehow connected to that thing in Picard, but I doubt it.
Yeah.
Especially because, I don't know, no one made a big deal out of it during Picard. So,
right. We also didn't see, there weren't 7 moons,
That's true.
And the
wait.
The magic summoning circle.
7 moons? 7 signals. JJ.
I feel like we're that guy from Always Sunny in Philadelphia
drawing
the lines
and 7
on
signals. We should. Oh man.
Drawing the lines on the board with like
man. I wonder
the conspiracy theory
hold
guy
on.
showing like,
I gotta find,
these are all connected,
oh
man.
my
It's all
gosh,
connected.
7
Lizard
moons.
people.
Okay, hold on. 7 moons. Picard.
It's 8 though, right?
Is it 8 moons?
The secret was that there was 8 ones, and the 7 showed you that the 8th one was missing.
Right, but I just want to see a picture of it. Where are the 7 moons in Picard? Oh, no one has a good picture of it. I'm gonna combine these for next episode and find out.
No, the 7 moons are like in like a single system orbit or
isn't
something.
there a star map of them?
Yeah, the star map shows them all like in a line.
I know. I'm gonna put it on top.
Because the whole point was that
put it on top.
The whole point was that they were
7 signals and see if they line up.
But they don't, because they were literally in a line, like a straight line.
Oh. I think we're on
it's not. Look, nothing. I will put nothing past these writers. Anything, literally, could happen.
I'm gonna put it all.
I don't think this one in particular is what it is.
We're putting it together. All right. Well, in the meantime, if you've already put it together, you could email us at podcast.
But don't tell. Hey, though, if you actually did just watch it and know, don't tell us. Come on, don't be mean.
Okay, no spoilers though. Like it has to be based on what you heard here and what we've already discovered. Like
if you're watching
we're on to
along
something
and you want to share some fun ideas with us,
sure.
podcast@weweregamers.com, the email address. Please send some messages there. We will read them. It would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
This podcast, Subspace Transmissions, is available on your fine podcasting app of choice, like Stitcher or Spotify or Apple or Google Podcasts. So check those out. We are on social media. If you look for @WeWereGamers, you can find us on YouTube. If you search for We Were Gamers and subscribe, that would be real cool. You could find this sorted into a nice playlist. If you only want to watch these sweet Subspace Transmissions and you don't care about the regular We Were Gamers stuff, that's a cool way to do that.
I forgot to mention that how excited I was during episode 8 when they were like, someone's sending Subspace Transmissions. I was like, that's the first time they've said it on this.
Yeah, it's us.
This season of the show. Yay.
Yeah.
That was fun.
I hope the other episodes are as good as this last one.
If they are on an arc that is all connected from here out, and whoever wrote this one kind of keeps with it, we might be good to go. You know what I mean?
I hope.
I have the hope. You gotta have hope. Keep hope alive. It's all about hope. Hope. What they say something. I'm trying to find the line in my head because somebody said something about hope in this show and I couldn't remember what it is. Oh, it was Stamets.
Is it Saru?
You know, Stamets saying that he had. Maybe it was more than people. Maybe it was Saru also, but I thought it was Stamets.
Saru talks about hope.
Okay.
When he frees the slaves.
Man, oh my gosh, I could spend a day talking about how immoral that was. I could, but we had to stop.
Yeah,
because
it's pretty easy.
I could. That was so far beyond the pale of Star Trek. All right, next time, 9, 10, 11. Am I correct?
Yes.
All right, that's it. Thanks for another episode with us, everybody.